Here's a chapter-by-chapter summary of Unwind by Neal Shusterman, focusing on the major themes of each chapter. Chapters 1 to 3. The decision to unwind. We meet our three main characters, Connor, Risa, and Leviticus. Connor discovers that his parents signed the order to have him unwound, so he runs away. Risa, a state ward, is also scheduled for unwinding due to budget cuts. Lev, however, is a tithe, raised to believe unwinding is his purpose. These characters' fates intersect as they flee from authorities. Themes: the value of life, society's control over individuals, and parental betrayal. Hashtag unwinding decisions, hashtag societal control, hashtag escape. Chapters 4 to 6. Connor's escape. Connor successfully runs from the police, but accidentally pulls Lev into his escape. Lev's conflicted, seeing Connor as a criminal for ruining his purpose. Risa, trying to save herself, gets involved in the chaos. Connor's impulsive actions often put them at risk. Themes: survival, trust, and moral dilemmas. Hashtag fight for survival, hashtag mixed loyalties, hashtag escape plan. Chapters 7 to 9. Tensions rise. The group finds temporary shelter in the woods. Tensions flare, especially between Lev, who believes unwinding is his fate, and Connor, who refuses to accept it. Risa steps up as a mediator, showing early signs of leadership. Themes: conflict between personal beliefs and societal expectations. Hashtag fate versus free will, hashtag group dynamics, hashtag leadership. Chapters 10 to 13. The harvest camps. We learn more about harvest camps, where teens are unwound. The government and society claim unwinding is not killing because parts of them live on. Connor, Risa, and Lev start understanding the reality of what unwinding really means. Lev's internal struggle intensifies. Themes: dehumanization, ethics of organ donation, personal identity. Hashtag what is life, hashtag ethics of unwinding, hashtag unwind society. Chapters 14 to 17. On the run. As the trio flees, they face increasing danger. Lev starts to see that he might not want to be unwound, while Connor and Risa grow closer. They're hunted and must make tough decisions to survive. Connor is haunted by the decision of being unwanted by his family. Themes: identity, survival, courage in the face of danger. Hashtag who am I, hashtag trust issues, hashtag on the run. Chapters 18 to 21. New alliances. The trio finds other kids on the run from unwinding. They form alliances with other teens trying to avoid the system. Lev begins to question everything he's been raised to believe. Connor becomes a reluctant leader as the stakes grow higher. Themes: rebellion, community, questioning beliefs. Hashtag question authority, hashtag rebellion begins, hashtag new allies. Chapters 22 to 25. The graveyard. They reach a safe haven known as the graveyard, where runaway unwinds live under the radar. However, even here, it's not entirely safe. Power struggles begin, and everyone is unsure whom to trust. Connor takes on a leadership role but grapples with the responsibility. Themes: leadership, hope versus despair, power struggles. Hashtag safe haven or not, hashtag power and responsibility, hashtag graveyard life. Chapters 26 to 30. Lev's transformation. Lev, initially brainwashed into believing unwinding is his purpose, has an emotional breakthrough. He starts questioning the morality of unwinding and begins his transformation from a follower to someone questioning the system. Themes: brainwashing, free will, self-discovery. Hashtag brainwashed no more, hashtag finding myself, hashtag moral awakening. Chapters 31 to 35. The betrayal. There's a major betrayal within the group as trust breaks down. Lev's complicated loyalties surface, and he faces a moral crisis about what side he should be on. Meanwhile, Connor and Risa are captured and sent to a harvest camp. Themes: betrayal, loyalty, the consequences of trust. Hashtag who to trust, hashtag betrayal, hashtag loyalties tested. Chapters 36 to 39. The harvest camp. Connor and Risa are sent to a harvest camp where unwinding is imminent. Tensions rise as Connor tries to plot an escape. The reality of unwinding is terrifying, as they witness other kids being prepped for the process. Lev is involved in a shocking plan that could change everything. Themes: sacrifice, facing mortality, ethics of unwinding. Hashtag the final countdown, hashtag harvest camp horror, hashtag facing the end. Chapters 40 to 45. The climax. At the harvest camp, everything comes to a head. Connor faces his fate, Risa fights for survival, and Lev has a decision to make that will change the course of everyone's lives. There's an explosive climax that determines whether or not unwinding will continue as a practice. Themes: sacrifice, rebellion, redemption. Hashtag rebel or die, hashtag high stakes, hashtag final showdown. Chapters 46 to 50. The aftermath. The characters grapple with the aftermath of the events at the harvest camp. Some are left changed forever, and others must live with the decisions they've made. The unwinding system is shaken, but the battle is far from over. Themes: redemption, legacy, the fight for justice. Hashtag changed forever, hashtag aftermath, hashtag fight for justice.